Welcome back to Friends Around the Tap. Today I'm here with
Barry.
and
Susie. Or Charnene. Whatever.
right, either
It's
one,
fine.
either Susie or Charnene. So we're doing something different. We're actually doing interviews and kind of giving you a little bit of background into who we are. Today we're interviewing Barry, Assertive Business Solutions, and having a conversation about, I guess, what is Assertive Business Solutions?
Assertive Business Solutions is a training and consulting company. The concept came from my extensive background in the food and beverage service industry and old.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been around for a few. So a lot of my classmates, friends know me from the bartender way back. Gonna shout out some old spots like the DC Live. One of my first bartending gigs was Tacoma Station.
Dinosaurs.
taking
Dinosaurs.
you back.
Taking you back, taking you back. And I'll be the first to say, bartending was always like my hustle.
Yeah.
So that was like, I'm gonna go ahead and make some quick money. And that was one of the things I wanted to get as far away from as I possibly could to become a professional. Years later, I've come full circle where I've embraced that food and beverage knowledge. I've gone through the bartending stage, I've gone through the server, I've gone through management, I've gone through this next phase, which is training. I love training, love consulting businesses on food and beverage, retail, even on the banking side. But that's where the concept came from, and taking all that experience and then putting it together. I mean, I've worked in so many different places that allowed me to research on what would work well, what not to do, some horrible things that you would never do, and it just made me better as a professional and as a consultant and as a trainer.
So you mentioned banking. What is your background in banking?
One of the first things I broke away from after bartending was I went into the banking world of a financial advisor. I shouldn't say banking world, but I started off as a financial advisor. And that is an interesting industry where it teaches you how to grind. I mean, you're constantly looking for clients. And it's not a lot of money. I didn't have any rich uncles. The people I was talking to, their 401ks were older than me.
Wow.
And I just didn't get the money. So at some point I was licensed. I had my Series 7, my Series 66, and my life and health. So I was able to do all the financial advising stuff, but I just transitioned over into the banking world. And from there, I was Barry the banker at some point. So I was doing deposits, investments, and also loans. And from there, I transitioned from, and we're not going to act like that just didn't happen. So that was our producer. But from there, I transitioned to the mortgage world. And I was part of a mortgage company. We had a title company, and life was fantastic until the big, huge implosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know that
I
well.
remember that.
hmm So guess what came back around? After no one wanted anyone from that banking / mortgage world, it was like, I gotta start bartending again. And I went back to, a shout out to my man Terrence and Jason for getting me inside the Gaylord Hotel. And I started off as a bartender there and transitioned to an AGM and then finally into the training manager role, which opened my eyes up to training. So that was like a new way of looking at things and just loved it. I'd always been in management, but that was the first time I took on training.
Who are your customers for consulting?
For consulting, small restaurants, small to mid-sized restaurants, small to mid-sized hotels, the places that do not have a training team. So my team and I are able to go in and help them with their quality assessments of their training and certifications and also their professional development.
Did you actually say where you got Assertive Business Solutions from?
No, I did not say where I
Because I'll be honest, I don't even know where you got that from. Now I'm very curious.
The Assertive Business Solutions came from my concept of I wanted to be first on whoever's list that was looking for trainers
Okay.
or looking for consultants. So I wanted an A in the name. And assertive was all about what I've had to do over the years. I had to assert myself some way, somehow, and take it to the next level by pushing forward. And assertive just worked.
What are the challenges that you see in this area being a trainer?
People not wanting to pay for the expertise. That's the challenge. So we have some fantastic clients, and we have some clients that we know we can help, but they're not willing to pay for the service of elevating their business or making more money.
Why do you think that is? If they know that you can take their business up to the next level, especially as a small business, why do you think it is that they don't want to pay? Do you think it's just that they don't know about this type of business, or are they just, for lack of a better term, being cheap? Or
a little bit of both.
Okay.
So from a small business person's perspective, it's how do I show? Training is always one of those first things that are cut in major corporations because the return on investment is not easily shown.
Right.
You don't always see it until after training is gone. So the hard part is making sure we tie ourselves to the bottom line. So one of the first things I tell most business owners is within 2 months, you'll see your return on investment based on what we do. Our quality assessments, which is what I like to call a mystery shop on steroids. And we go in and we assess exactly what happens. And from not just a customer standpoint, but our consultants understand the service world. So they're able to go in and see the issue, see the problem. Sharnine, I'm going to put you on the spot because you actually are one of our quality assessment consultants, and I love
blew my cover, man.
Right.
Now I can't go nowhere.
Yes, you're good. Throw a little hat on.
Batman mask. Just put a Batman mask.
Right. I'll just
Little
change my
glasses.
lipstick color, pull my hair down. It'll be fine.
We actually have a great story. We call it the infamous Manhattan story.
Oh.
And one of the local restaurants we work with, you had 3 Manhattans,
2.
2, and both were completely
Could not do a
different.
third.
It didn't do. Chose
No,
not to.
I could not do
Could
a
not
third.
do a third.
I could not.
I always remember the last one, what you said was probably the better one, was just fixed hot.
Yes.
And as a business owner, why wouldn't you want to know something like that?
Right. Absolutely.
And
Hot Manhattans are the best.
so no stir, no ice, just vermouth, bourbon, bitters. Here you go. Oh, cherry. That was your drink.
All
right?
in the same glass.
All in the same glass.
There was no craft to it. I feel like if you're going to charge a certain dollar amount, for a cocktail, there needs to be some type of craft to
There
it.
needs to be a
Again,
little
spirits
love. There needs
enthusiasts,
to be a little love to it.
something.
Right.
Spend some time with my beverage before you don't just,
Throw it out there.
blah, blah, blah. There you go. And that's kind of how I felt like it went, So, it was a little disappointing.
But and the management team and the owners want to know about those things because they can't be everywhere.
Right.
And just being in the industry myself, I know you can't see everything.
Right.
As good as I thought I was, and as good as I think I am, and as good as I feel like I am, I know I can't be on the floor and catch every single thing, which is why our model works.
Right.
We find that people will see a drastic turnaround because it's all about the accountability. Once you know you're being assessed and someone can come back and say, on this particular night, at this particular day, I was sitting in this particular spot and I ordered X, Y, and Z from you, but you didn't give me a warm greeting. You didn't upsell me. You allowed me to just make you an order taker. And I use that word all the time, order taker.
Not to cut you off, but for people who don't know, what is an upsell?
Upsell is I come in and I sit down and I say, you know what, I want a rum and coke. Now, if you just give me the regular rum and coke as opposed to asking me would you like to
And that's
party,
the stuff people pull from right in front of them.
the cheaper stuff.
Right, instead of going to like the bottles
higher
behind
end,
them.
top shelf.
Okay.
Or I may want to say I want a Tiburon rum and maybe a Shark and Stormy or something
Right.
like that.
Bam.
Hey, Basil. Think about you. But it's all about the upsell.
Right.
And that's how you increase your check. And I used to tell a lot of the folks that work with me that if you're coming in and you just want to make tennis shoe money, then you're just going to be an order taker. But if you're trying to make sure you handle your bills, you got college to pay for, that tuition, that mortgage, that rent, then you're going to upsell. You're going to offer. You're going to give them an experience that they're never going to forget, and they have no problem tipping you.
Right.
And on top of that, you've just increased your check price.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from an owner standpoint, that's even better, because that $25, $30 has now gone to $45, $50,
Right.
based off the upsell.
Right.
How did you become involved with Friends Around the Tap and drink events?
That would be your fault. I'm blaming you.
So take a sip.
Right. Just, whew.
Pinky up on
I
that.
just want you to know my wife hates you every now and then. No, I mean, it was drinking events was great to allow me to visit the bartender side of me again. Now, I will be the first to say I am not a mixologist. I know some phenomenal mixologists. I'm not that guy. You called me a drink slinger back in the day, and I was. I mean, I used to work at the nightclubs, all that good stuff. It wasn't until I got into the hotels and I started seeing the craft side of it, and the restaurants where you had to build that craft.
Right.
And it wasn't about speed. It was about, I don't make money off speed. Now I make my money off the experience, and providing that experience that people say, I want to come back and see him. So when it came to drinking events, I was just falling out to be able to say, let's create a cocktail. And I'd have to give a shout out to my beautiful wife who came up with the concept of, hey, why don't you do something that people can use at home? Don't go out and have them buy an expensive bartending kit, but things that they can use at home to muddle or to shake or to roll and have fun with it. And that still falls in line with training, because you're walking folks through how to build craft drinks, and it's just a fun event. And then Pipetown was, you came up and said, guess what? I got a liquor license. And I'm like, did I miss a decade where you were in food service? And
Yeah.
and you were like, no, I just wanted to do it. And I had to respect someone who says, I'm going to go outside my norm, break through my comfort zone, and start something that I've never done before. So anything I could do to help.
Where do you see yourself going with Assertive Business Solutions?
I want our team to be that one-stop solution for small to mid-sized companies that don't necessarily want or need a big HR team or big training team. To bring us in when they have new hires, to when they, for stores like yourself, we need alcohol training. We have people that can come out and do that. DC, it is mandatory.
Right.
Maryland, and I just found out from my man Kev Smith, shout out, that PG is actually going out now and checking folks to make sure that they're checking IDs properly.
Oh.
And if they are, then they're giving them a certificate right on the spot saying, congratulations, you passed XYZ test for not serving a minor or carding properly. So that's one of the things we can do. We come in and we help you save money, number one, because you don't want that type of hit on your business, just serving a
That's
minor.
thousands of dollars.
Thousands and thousands of dollars. We're
It's
not even
important.
talking about
It's
important.
attorney fees.
Right.
Yeah.
So I see it. I'm part of. I'm on a mailing list for DC where you see it constantly. They didn't have an ABC manager on file or anything like that. So it's tough. It's tough.
Mm-hmm. Thanks again for joining us at Friends Around the Tap. This was something different that we were trying to do, interview, to give you an idea of what we are trying to do and who we are. One of the things we're doing today is we are drinking. We didn't bring up what we were drinking. We're drinking a mead from Ohio. It's one of the things I brought back on a trip. This particular one is apple pie from the brothers Drake. What are your thoughts, guys?
It's a little too sweet for me, but I think it's people will really enjoy it. It's made from Ohio apple cider. Definitely can taste like the cinnamon, nutmeg, and it 13%. It would be great, honestly, in the wintertime, warmed up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe putting it in some tea or something like that.
I think we need to have our mixologists take a look at that. And
Yeah.
We know a couple of mixologists.
Yeah.
We know a couple.
I know a bartender.
Right. And Barry keeps saying, we need to make a cocktail with that, but I see no cocktails in front of me, Barry. What's up with that?
Not this time.
Not this time.
All right.
But I do like this. Before we close out, if you're a Moscato drinker, you're gonna love this.
All day
definitely
long.
something different for you to try.
It's
Can
sweet, though.
Do it as a dessert,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe with dessert if you're like one of those people that that like sweet with sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It would be something great. 13%.
Yeah, 13%.
Fight through that.
Take your time.
Well, thanks again for joining us at Friends Around the Tap. Here with Barry, Charnene, and you can find us on
Twitter at Imbibe Friends, on Facebook Friends Around the Tap, and on Instagram. I'm lazy with Instagram. I'm going to get better, people. But Friends Around the Tap on Instagram as well.
Thanks again. Cheers.
Salute.